Okay, week 4. Okay, so week 4 was about recovering a sense of integrity, whatever that means. I took down a summary, like some notes, a summary of how week 4 was for you, Jayla, how you were feeling and everything like that. Okay, so this week I said I felt more open to change, which is definitely true. I feel like I kind of gave myself permission to accept the fact that I may just gravitate towards other crafts, and that's okay. And I I had this moment where like I realized that I've always dabbled in other things, but I always had some shame around doing multiple things at one time, even though like I've been an advocate for doing multiple things, dabbling in other crafts for a long time. I've always been an advocate for that, but I still had some shame around it because I would just see the faces of all of my past coaches and mentors and teachers and counselors just look at me so disappointed every time I told them I don't want to do this anymore. I'm moving on to something else. I've done every sport. I have done everything from cheerleading to frisbee to track to baseball to basketball. I've done volleyball. I did gymnastics. I did ballet. I did tap. I did jazz. I was on the step team. I was in the band as a dancerette. I've done acting. I've tried modeling. Like, I have done so many things. And when I get bored or I want to move on and express myself in a different way, I was always like toodaloo, and I always got that disappointing talk, that look of shame, that look of, oh, you have so much potential if you would just stick with it and don't quit. And that word quit was just thrown around so much. And I never really felt like I was quitting. I was just more like, I want to move on. I want to do something else. And so I kind of am working on letting that go and kind of releasing that shame from my life of just like, this is what it is. This is who I am. And I can express myself in multiple ways. Like, my whole creative career doesn't have to be, I don't know why I want to use the word linear, but it doesn't have to be just one thing. I don't have to do music for the rest of my life. And God knows I will not. That's boring. That sucks, actually. But, I gave myself permission to fall in love with other crafts and try other things. Maybe I'll go a year and paint. Maybe I'll go a year and do music or whatever. But I just decided to take my life project by project, meaning right now I'm working on the Broom Closet project and that whole musical thing and my mixtape. And that's the project that I'm focused on right now. Once that project reaches its completion, maybe I'll focus on another project that has nothing to do with music, but I'm expressing myself in other ways and other crafts because that's what my inner child is gravitating towards. And I gave myself permission to just be okay with doing that. Like, it's okay if you fall in love with something else. I'm not going to try and suppress or restrict myself to just doing one thing because in the, subconsciously, I'm seeing the face of my last dance coach disappointed in me, shaking her head in shame. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You know what I mean? So that was good this week. I created an artist prayer and I used it like twice, and which was good. And I noticed when I did use it, I felt a lot more open and safe before I created. What else? So this week in week 4, we did this thing called reading deprivation, where you basically go a full week of not reading. I took it upon myself to try reading deprivation and music. So just being immersed in the moment, not reading anything, and not listening to any music, not indulging in social media or anything like that. And I will say towards the end of the week, I slipped up. I didn't slip up. I intentionally was like, fuck this shit. But what I noticed was it was very hard for me not to read or listen to music. And I peeped that music substitutes for my lack of company. I substitute my lack of company and loneliness or boredom with music. Music is like company to me. And when I didn't have music, I was allowed to really feel alone, or just silent, when I wasn't reading or indulging in social media, it was easier for me to hear from God. Or I noticed that if I'm not reading or listening to music, I'm creating or sleeping. I'm creating, thinking about creating, or sleeping. So that was really interesting. I want to take it upon myself to, like, maybe I have like a one day out of the week that I don't read or listen to music, and see how that works for me. Maybe I'll try that in week 5. But that was really interesting. That was an interesting exercise that she put in there, which was cool. What else? I had my artist date. I bought paint. Okay, hold on. Let me show myself. And actually, I just caught myself in a lie because I said I bought paint, but I didn't. I definitely stole this whole kit from Walmart. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, so I bought this little children's paint thing, and, like, I don't know. I was trying to, like, mix colors and just see how it would show up on this paper, and I hate this. I realized, like, when I did start painting that I prefer bigger canvases. Like, I want to go in. So I think I'm going to go on Amazon and see how much they cost, or maybe I can build my own. But I want, like, big canvases to really go crazy with. I like big paint brushes. Like, I just want to do so many cool things, like cut stuff up and glue and glitter, and I don't know, just, like, really go ham. I'm not a fan of this size or this type of paper. I want to be in the art. Like, I want a huge ass painting, like the one a huge canvas like the ones in the museum, that I can just, like, look up to, like a tall building, and go crazy. So yeah, that was interesting. I got some paint, so I'm gonna start painting and allowing myself to draw, not being so critical, just, like, flowing with it. That was my artist date this week, which was cool. I got up at, like, 5 in the morning and did that. And yeah, I did my morning pages. Morning pages were good. And that was this week. So I had a couple of realizations. I was journaling about men in my life and my insecurities and my fears, and really immersed in my feelings, because I think I was talking about, like, last week, it was hard for me to acknowledge my feelings in my pages. But I noticed that I've really been pouring out in my pages, and it's just kind of easier to open up to myself now, and my pages feel like a really productive and safe space for me to do that. So that was week 4. Let's look into week 5. Week 5 is, oh yeah, we did some assignments. The assignments were cool this week too. But anyway, week 5 is about recovering a sense of possibility. She says, this week, you are being asked to examine your payoffs in... What? This week you are at... Julia, hold on. I'm sorry, I can't read. This week, you are being asked to examine your payoffs in remaining stuck. You will explore how you curtail your own possibilities by placing limits on the good you can receive. You will examine the cost of settling for appearing good instead of being authentic. You will examine the cost of settling for appearing good instead of being authentic. I'm all about that. Whatever this content is going to be about, I am all about that. I don't know what happened between, like, last year and this year. I don't give a fuck about what looks good or the idea of, like, a good person. Bitch, I'm being real. I'm being authentic. So I'm excited to see what this is going to be about. She said you may find yourself thinking about radical changes, no longer ruling out your growth by making others the cause of your constriction. Well, never that. So we'll see what's going on. The first chapter says limits. I'm excited for that. Overall, Jayla, you're feeling good. You're doing good. I feel good about this. Like, I had a moment where I kind of felt silly about, like, participating in this, but then I realized that wasn't actually my own feeling. I was just mentally putting myself in the perspective of somebody else and what they would feel about me doing this or whatever, which is, like, so insane and kind of amazing. Like, I feel like I have the this weird ability to be in my mind and be in my space and my beliefs, but I also have the ability to like be this opposing side of me, like this other person who's looking at me like, ugh, bitch, that's stupid. What the fuck are you doing? You know, and I'm just like, who is that? What voice is that that's like inside of me making me think that's a thing and it's not? And it's so interesting how I'm able to now easily depict what I truly feel versus what I think other people feel about me. You know what I mean? It's so weird. And I just ask myself, like, why do people even do that? Like, I don't know. I know some people who live their whole life based on the beliefs of other people. The beliefs that they think other people have about them, that they think are their own beliefs, but it's not really your own beliefs. You're only believing what you think other people believe about you, and you're trying to live up to those beliefs. It's twisted. It's twisted. But I know what I'm saying. It's weird. But yeah, girl. So week 5, we're finna get into it. For now, I need to straighten up, get clean, and I don't know what I want to do next. I don't know. But I feel good about this week, and I feel good about next week, so period.